Welcome, one and all, to the Lame Design Conference, wherein each edition my esteemed guest and I will take turns in attempting to pitch the worst possible video game to you, the fans at home, whilst a professional graphic designer and artist illustrates said pitches over our inane ramblings. The contestant who can pitch the stupider, more diabolically unenjoyable game will be crowned the winner by you, the audience, via a poll that will be linked in this video's pinned comment and active for a week after the video's release. If the winner is my guest, they'll be placed into the Hall of Lame at the end of the following episode. And if the winner is me, I'll go out and buy myself a milkshake and look very smug about it. Let's meet today's contestant. Hello and welcome back yet again to the Lame Design Conference after a reasonably lengthy hiatus. This is episode 5, I believe. I am your host, as ever, Fudj. Today I am joined by current co-host of the Quorators. Is it Curators or Curators?
We're curating Quoras.
Doesn't answer my question, Jeremy.
Quorators. No one knows what it is.
I was gonna say. I mean, it's Quora that you're doing, but you're curate. Yeah, okay. We'll throw some Quorators up on screen or something, and show some stuff at the end. And ex-hard drive editor-in-chief Jeremy Kaplowitz. This is part of his mandated farewell tour. He was in my DMs demanding, put me on the Lame Design Conference.
Brad. Please, I've got so many ideas.
Practically hanging onto my leg as I tried to walk away. It was quite embarrassing. I won't lick the DMs, don't worry.
Look at that. Look,
yeah. Just so you guys know, I was hard drive editor-in-chief, and not to be that guy, but I want to get this out of the way because I feel like a lot of people, maybe not a lot of people, but I feel like some people don't know this, and I also worry about you feeling typecast in this fashion.
That's true. I am Jewish.
Yes. What I was going to say is this is the guy who ratioed Elon Musk. Yes. Let's all get over it. I don't know. Do you get that a lot? Do you get almost a bit sick of that?
The Elon stuff? Not really, honestly.
No?
The thing that people know me most for is my Seinfeld video, weirdly.
True.
Which is a little odd, but
yes.
Yeah. And I think sometimes people are like, you should do other versions. For anyone who doesn't know, I made a video years ago that I was doing Jerry Seinfeld talking about dating a 19-year-old or 17-year-old.
Yeah.
And every now and then people are like, you should do this guy and that guy. And I'm like, I'm not going to be the pedophile comedian person. Like, that's not... Yeah. I'm not going to lead into that.
And you're also... not necessarily an impressionist, right? Like, just because you've got a good Jerry Seinfeld.
Even good is a strong word.
No.
It's fine.
Yeah. We didn't get Seinfeld over here, so I just kind of take your word for it. I'm like, yeah, that's definitely what he was like. But yeah, this is the guy, but more importantly, editor-in-chief of Hard Drive Mag for, was it 7 years? Started in 2017, right?
Yeah. 6.5.
So this guy is responsible for a lot of the magic, and this is kind of, like I say, kind of his going away present. We'll call it that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Jeremy. So this is the Lame Design Conference. You guys know how the show works now, but before we get into it, Jeremy, can you change my fucking world with a fun fact about yourself right now?
Okay, I tried to think of some fun facts, and I don't have too many, but one I thought of is that as a kid, I'm 6 feet tall, which you wouldn't know because we've never met each other in person.
Really? Wow.
But, I took human growth hormone as a kid to get there. I'm an HGH kid. My projected height was 5'2". When I was a kid, they showed me a literal chart of my weight and height, and I was below the chart, like literally negative percentile, which I never am able to really wrap my head around, but that's a fun fact.
So negative percentile, as in like you were below average height, and then you took growth hormones to get to average height.
I was not below average. So like average would be like 50th percentile. Mm-hmm. I was negative percentile.
So
I literally don't know what that means.
Surely that means you were way bigger than all the other kids?
Smaller. I was so small,
right,
and so skinny,
yeah,
that I was off the charts, as they say.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So you had to take hormones to get back in line with the other kids.
Yes.
That's crazy. Yeah. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'd never even heard of growth hormones until today. That sounds like some Fallout shit that turns you into a fucking mutant.
Well, you know what? Usually the people who take it are like professional athletes trying to cheat. Mm-hmm. So it's that. Yeah. And then my mom sent me an article recently. I did this as a kid, so like I wasn't super, I was like into it. Obviously, I was down to do it, but it wasn't really my choice. My mom sent me an article recently about someone being like, apparently, like, if you take growth hormone as a kid, it could, like, ruin your life. And I was like, all right, well, thanks for the article, I guess. Like, don't send me that.
What do you know? However many years later, you're the editor-in-chief of an online gaming satire website.
Yeah.
Doing a podcast on the classics.
Clearly, it all worked out.
Yeah. I think there's
my body
like...
will definitely not wither away.
Yeah. I think recently they've tried pioneering some kind of surgery for guys to make themselves taller, haven't they? With like, you like put some metal rods in your legs and like extend them or some shit, and it looks, if not painful, highly impractical.
Whole thing's ridiculous, including what I did.
Yeah.
I think it's all ridiculous. I could have just been a 5'2" person, and it would have been fine.
But you're 6 foot
Maybe
plus
not.
now, and did it work? I mean, it worked, right?
10 inches, man. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
If I have kids, they'll be tiny.
Well, get them on
the DNA.
Get them on the fucking juice
True.
too, Family. If you want to make life as a content creator, honestly, get them on the juice early. Have really big kids, and that's a Twitter account right there. I'm technically on testosterone blockers because I know, hard to believe, but I'm taking finasteride, which is like anti balding stuff. Which because baldness runs in my family, and I just
late for me
about that life. Sorry,
it's too late for me on that front.
Well, I mean, you're 6 foot, so
yeah, there you go. And I'm married. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. You haven't got to fucking worry about it. I'm technically on testosterone blockers, and that's been a weird experience for reasons that I've suddenly realised mid-sentence I'm not going to go into. So, you know how the show works. We're going to take it in turns to pitch the worst, stupidest, shittest possible video game you can imagine, to say goodbye to Jeremy, and thanks for all his good work at Hard Drive, and we forgive you for all the dumb shit.
I've never made a mistake, thankfully. No one's ever been mad at Hard Drive in the history of the site, which is awesome.
I think a very large percentage of the guests I've had on the show have been American, and I, as a British person, feel like I'm taking a risk almost every time I make a joke. I'm like, dude, are they going to think I'm a massive cunt?
What, is that a thing?
I think
the British
so.
Sense of humor that different?
I mean, with you, I know I feel a bit safer because obviously you're also a comedian and satirist and stuff. And we'll get into that when I get into my pitch. But definitely, we are quite a bit more brutal, introverted.
Sure. Sure.
I love doing this show. It's great fun, but it's really intimidating. Like, you're the first person I think who I'm doing the show with who like I have some level of familiarity with. So otherwise, it's like literally call up a person from a different country on the day, develop a rapport with them right there and then get a good recording and all this other stuff, and don't fuck up the recording. It's very socially tiring and emotionally exhausting, and Americans are very extroverted, so like it's literally my fault, but I call them and then they pick up. I'm like, oh fuck, it's you.
I used to get like that with my old podcast as well when I would have people on.
It's like
stressful.
It's like that meme of being in a D&D group but wanting it to be cancelled every week.
Yes.
You know? Anyway, Jeremy, do you have any preference for who goes first today?
No, whatever you want to do, man.
Okay. Well, I think I usually go first unless the guest specifically requests it. So let's just do it. Now, I've been saving this pitch for someone like you, Jeremy, because I have a lot of my guests have been content creators or influencers, lovely people, but weak little snowflakes, really, when it comes down to it.
Sure.
And I've been wanting to get a bit more risque for a while, but I needed to do it with someone who I knew could take the hit, and who I knew if I got cancelled in the process would get over it and land on their feet. There's actually like nothing wrong with it, but I knew as soon as I started talking about this pitch with some fucking YouTuber or some journalist, they'd curl up into a little ball in their seat and be like, oh god, what have I signed up for? And I knew the whole time that I was going to bring it back, but they'd be like, "Oh, getting increasingly uncomfortable." So,
right now, I'm excited to hear this now.
To open this pitch, Jeremy, I'm going to ask you a question. What is the number one thing gamers want more of in their video games today?
Like fucking makeup on female protagonists, apparently.
Politics, baby. Woo! For a long time now, Mario Party has had a monopoly, funnily enough, on the party game. And today I'd like to change that with my pitch. 2 working titles, Party Party or Political Party. This is effectively a Mario Party style party game in the fascinating world of politics. So we take your Mario, your Luigi, your Yoshi, your Peach, and we replace them with famous political figures. So an obvious one, Joe Biden, most relevant politician today. For some...
Can I just say real quick, as an American, it's one of the, as shitty as our politics are and our awful system, it's very funny to me that other countries have to know all of our fucking stupid people. Like, I feel like most countries you just have to know so many American politicians, and it's like a bummer, but it's also very funny to me.
We have to know your whole fucking culture, dude. You fuckers are everywhere. Why do I
crazy.
know what a Totino's pizza roll is? You know? We don't have them here. Joe Biden, most relevant politician in the world. Karl Marx, big classic for the Zoomers and millennials. I think I think a lot of viral TikTok clips of players playing as him would go down pretty well. But we need like a Wario, Waluigi style kind of villain character. So I'm gonna say Fidel Castro. And for our 4th character, we do need a video game rep, a character to kind of bring people in from that audience. So I've elected to include Croc from the PS1 classic, Croc, Legend of the Gobbos.
Sounds great.
I think he's running as an independent. His politics are kind of abstract. And you're running around a board and all sorts of maps and boards doing party game stuff. Coins from Mario Party, they're out. They're replaced with votes, which you're running around, collecting around the map. There's tons of stuff you could do with mini games to the point where I won't even get into all of them, but there's quite a lot of mini games in Mario Party where like you're painting or stamping things and trying to cover more surface area than your opponents. I think you're doing that with propaganda posters, just slapping them up on the walls, vote marks, conquest of bread, all that shit. There's a pretty infamous Mario Party game called Look Away. It's a 3v1 where like have you played much Mario Party?
Yeah, as a kid. I never owned a Mario Party, but I've played a lot of it.
Never owned a Mario Party, though.
It's one of those like games that my friend has. You know what I mean?
Fake gamer here.
I am a fake gamer.
There's this pretty famous Mario Party minigame called Look Away, where it's a 3v1 and like all the characters are bobbing their heads, and then the one player looks in one direction with the directional stick, and any of the 3 players who look in that same direction get eliminated. I've got a twist on that called Don't Look Away, where the 4 characters in question are looking at poverty, and you have to be the last one still looking. Oh, our illustration is called Cheesy, and you can make any demands of Cheesy. Cheesy, if for the illustration of this minigame you could have it so that Croc is winning this, that would be great. All the others like, oh god, famine, I can't bear to look, and Croc's like, no, I have to see this.
I think years ago we did a politics Mario Party joke on Hard Drive. I'm just curious what it is.
I wouldn't be surprised. You guys, you covered so much ground while you were here. I feel like you've got a joke for everything.
This was in April of 2020, and the article, this is by CJ Hernandez, it's opinion, Bernie should have stayed in the primary in case he won every bonus star.
I think CJ Hernandez, that name sounds familiar. I think they might be responsible for one of my favourite Hard Drive articles ever, which is the, I don't know if they wrote Trump throws out the first slur at Call of Duty game.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if that is him.
I fucking love that one.
An old one. You gotta have Trump in the thing.
Yeah, he's
that was someone else, Stephen Kowalski.
Oh, okay, Stephen Kowalski. Trump is definitely like an unlockable character, or maybe Bowser, but we'll touch on Bowser in a bit. I think my top 2 favourite, I never said this to you, but my top 2 favourite Hard Drive articles is you and Camden. Camden, it's the Microsoft just gonna make a Mario game and see what happens. Fucking love that one, classic. But I also fucking adore your Neil deGrasse Tyson. What's it? You. He informs captured captive that fear is irrational.
Yeah. That guy's so annoying.
So we've got these mini games. Coins are votes. Items are political moves like slander and libel and assassination. the latter of which can outright eliminate players from the game entirely. It's like kind of like a boo bell, but more extreme. Happening spaces are now publicity stunts. So you can go and kiss a baby or do a TikTok dance, which will hopefully factor into some event stars or bonus stars at the end. And finally, Bowser is replaced with the baying mob. And instead of having a chance to trigger a Bowser revolution, the baying mob always instantly triggers a revolution, which again can also kill and assassinate players and permanently remove them from the game. Because
that sounds fun.
Be ready to die for this shit.
Good game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Any thoughts on political party or party?
I think that there's a lot of room for DLC characters. You know,
Yes.
there's just so many people that you could add to this game.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it would be good. It would probably encourage a certain subset of people. Like if this became a huge game, let's say it becomes as big as Mario Party, it would encourage certain people to run for office, knowing that they could eventually get in the game. Like I'd be like, I want to be a senator so that eventually I can play as myself in politics party.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
good for the government.
It would be just like the amount of people who played regular Mario Party and tried to emulate that in real life too, you know? They
That's
played
true.
Mario Party and were like, I want to do this in real life, and then they start throwing mushrooms and dice blocks at each other.
And they found a giant ice island and
Yeah.
they ran on it.
Yeah. Honestly,
Is that one of them?
Mr. Beast is like 3 months away from doing Mr.
true.
Beast, if you're watching,
And he is.
yeah, obviously he is. You know, I did an episode with Dave Oshry from New Blood, and like genuinely, I would say over 50% of the episode, and that guy's a CEO of a well-known indie game company. Genuinely, over 50% of that episode is me and him laughing about Mr. Beast and all the shit Mr. Beast might do.
It'd be funny if Mr. Beast only watched like very serious documentaries. Like in his all of his content's just like, yo guys, what's up? I made a real life version of killing your best friend. And then like he just watches Ken Burns' Civil War documentary over and over again.
But yeah, no, I agree about DLC characters. I forgot to mention boards. Some iconic locations from throughout political history. You know, Tiananmen Square is a board.
Lovely.
I think the site of the JFK assassination is a board, and not that happening spaces exist, but because it's publicity stunts. But if they did, there would definitely be a happening space where a limousine with a blown up head JFK in the back chases you, you know, spinning out of control, chases you to the other end of the board, and you have to run away from it. I think the January 6th insurrection would make a pretty good board.
That's where I went immediately. That's
Yeah.
where my brain went. January 6th in there.
So there you go. There's my pitch for political party. The live crowd and the Len Design audience are going absolutely crazy. Thank you. It's a pleasure as always. What an audience you've been.
Honestly, January 6th would be a good game in itself because
Yes.
then you get those. It's probably pretty fun to storm the White House, but you don't have to do it in real life. It's just like you can get those feelings out in a video game, which is what we all do when we kill people in Call of Duty.
Yes, exactly. Or you play a game and then you go too far and then you want to do it in real life. You know.
That is true. That is the problem.
But I will say nothing more about that. Call of Duty. Jeremy, can you wow the audience with your pitch? Give us what you got.
I have a pitch for a game. It is a Dark Souls style game, and it takes place in a fantasy world
Whoa.
where humans are at war with a multiple races, a collection of large flies, like house flies and biting flies and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you're like you have the legendary sword, and the sword is just a sword-size fly swatter. And that's the game. You have a fly swatter and you're smacking flies left and right.
Based on what you've just said, this feels like very rooted in your personal experience. I feel like you've had a bad experience with a fly in the last week, and you're like,
No, I haven't. But if I did, I wish that I had a sword of legend.
yeah.
The other ideas I have for this is that you can learn magic, but all of the magic is just like you can shoot pesticides and like raid. Do you have raid in the UK?
We do have raid, yeah. We use it a lot, actually.
I don't know if it was a different company or something that has
It's
dominated
raid.
the poison industry. But yeah.
Well,
You can you got hands that shoot raid. What's up?
I was going to say, you could argue there's a lot of companies in charge of the poison industry right now, but yeah. I'll save the social commentary for after the bit.
So yeah, you've got a big fly swatter. You can upgrade your fly swatter, so maybe like you can eventually get enough pieces to make it an electric fly swatter, maybe one that does AoE damage.
Yeah.
You can get an ability that shoots just a big light up into the sky and that attracts all the flies. I was thinking in Dark Souls, there's always like a save point, like a campfire or something like that. And in this game, you can only save in spots that are like safe for you because there's enemies everywhere. So you have to activate these giant glue traps, and those are your save points.
I was literally going to mention glue traps. I was like, can you eventually just unroll a big bit of sticky paper and just walk around with it like this? Yeah.
You should be able to. And then what else do I got? Oh, there's also, not everything's like a fly. Like there's also these large mythical beasts that are dragonflies, and there's a few of those around.
Very good.
And then the last thing I have is that you can have a pet, but it has to be a Venus flytrap.
Oh, I like that. I'd like a little pet Venus flytrap. I think if you could, give a Venus flytrap a fuss, and if it could show you affection, I think we'd look at them very differently in society.
I think that's right.
If my Venus flytrap meowed at me, I would.
Yeah, why not?
I would be quite endeared to that. I think, because they really are great companions. They clap flies, just make a cute little noise, and it's a pet basically.
Yeah, I mean, my cat doesn't do anything. My cat basically, he's like 10 feet away from me, just sleeping on the couch doing nothing. So it's not like the bar is pretty low for me to like a pet.
Yeah, you contribute nothing to the household.
Yeah,
pets play the same roles in our houses that pandas do in the wild. We literally keep them alive because they're cute. They don't fucking do anything. Is there any kind of PvP in this game? Perhaps pest versus pest?
Ooh, that would be interesting if there's some PvP. I mean, throw it in there. Dark Souls does it, and I don't really understand why they do that. I've played Elden Ring, and people were like trying to get into the multiplayer, and I was just like, I want to fight like the weird, nasty, freaky guys. Like, I don't really care about fighting like some kid who got their guy to level 500 or whatever.
Yeah,
but, throw it in there.
Fucking mega sweating it up with a fucking Naruto sword. Yeah.
No, don't do it.
Do you play a particularly weird build in Elden Ring or Souls or anything? Because I'm quite a weirdo.
When I played Elden Ring the first time, I would like to play it again as a more like traditional like fighter, but I did magic. I went for like a big magic build. I did it. What do you play? What's your move?
In Elden Ring, I'm a fucking double whip guy. I double wield whips. There's this pretty famous YouTube video of like a world record whip cracker. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but he's like the best whip cracker in the world. And they put plastic bottles on these like wooden logs, and he cuts them in half from range with his whips. And I'm like that guy, basically.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. That's funny to be the best at that. Like, how do you decide to be like, I'm going to be the best whip guy?
Some of these people just stumble into talents, but they're the most random of ways. Yeah, he's like a brilliant he's a brilliant figurehead for that scene though, because he wears like a cowboy hat and he's like really ripped because he does this all the time his whole life. He's awesome.
The coolest thing I've ever heard.
So your game, Jeremy, sounds like a whole entire game of Blighttown from Dark Souls 1. Have you played Dark Souls 1?
I've not played Dark Souls 1. Is that in it?
Yeah.
Big flies?
Are you familiar with Blighttown, which is everyone's most hated level?
No.
Okay.
I do not know it.
It is basically a big bug-infested swamp, and everyone fucking hates it because there's guys who throw poison bottles at you, and there's also giant mosquitoes, and everyone is gross, and you're working your way down into a swamp, and then it starts restricting your mobility. It's everyone's most hated bit of Dark Souls 1, and what you've done is you've made an entire game that is that level, right? Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad that I stumbled across everyone's least favorite thing.
Yeah. That's usually the good mark of a properly shit game, is when it's a full game of everyone's least favorite bit of another game.
I'm looking at the mosquitoes. It's like, yeah, that's basically what I was picturing.
Yeah. And I assume, Matt,
enemies.
How far are you into Elden Ring? Have you finished that?
I never finished Elden Ring. I was probably like 60 or 70 hours in. Are there a bunch of bugs in there too, eventually? Flies?
It's infamous for the amount of poison swamps, I think.
Oh, yes. There's a lot of poison, yeah.
Yes. There's one in particular, I won't say too much to try not to risk spoiling you, but there's one with a lot of ants that I wasn't very fond of. I was getting one shot by ants.
In my game, I'm imagining you have the poison, so you're just squirting people with Raid out of your hands, which is probably a little bit of good role reversal.
Yeah, but Raid is quite dangerous to you, isn't it? So like, it's quite toxic to humans. So I feel like when you shoot it, you're also taking damage, and every time you hit an enemy, you also have to back away from the general vicinity of the attack you've just done. Because it's Raid.
It's a good point. Yeah. It does take a bit, and also it smells very lemony, which your character finds annoying.
Yeah, like not taking damage, but like you're in a few frames of lag as your character expresses frustration. Gurd, lemony smell.
In my old apartment, like 6 or 7 years ago now, or maybe 5 years ago, we lived next to this like nasty hotel, and we had a terrible roach problem because the roaches would just walk right out into our apartment. So I was using Raid all the time. Raid is so weird. It comes out in like the longest stream. It's like so nasty.
Yeah,
it's very weird.
Yeah, not too experienced in the field of pesticide myself, but I do remember spraying some Raid and being like, "This is weird. This doesn't feel like how anything should spray."
You think it's gonna be like a spray, but it's like a stream.
Yeah, and for Americans to find the way that things come out of cans weird is quite concerning, considering the fucking squirty cheese you guys have. That is fucked up.
I haven't had that in a long time.
Get on at us for beans on toast all you want. You guys have cheese in a fucking can.
Well, to be fair, so that you're referring to easy cheese, right? I think that's what it's called.
Sure.
I don't think that is literally cheese.
I'm sure it's
easy
not.
Cheese is one of those things where it's like cheese tasting liquid.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just some fucking formula made in a lab pretending to be cheese. We kind of have the same thing with butter. Like the most famous butter brand is literally like says that they can't believe it's not butter. It's a famous marketing
that
thing.
Here too.
But it's okay. Never mind. No, not special.
Or not. If you have a nasty food, I'm sure we've come up with our own version of it.
Yeah, probably.
I haven't thought about easy cheese in so long. It's so gross looking.
Yeah, it really does look so bad. I saw it the other day on Twitter and I was like, I can't fucking believe that.
Have you ever had it?
No, I don't like cheese.
Well, there you go.
I'm very, very fussy with food. I don't like a lot of things. I also don't like,
it.
Gross, weird shit that comes out of a can. So.
Oh, the one thing you might like about it is that I don't think it's cheese.
True. True. Does your game have a name at all, Jeremy? Have you thought about that?
I was trying to think of a good one. When I was thinking of it, I just came up with Fly Swatter, but I feel like there's got to be some really clever name that I'm just not thinking of, and I don't know what it is. So I encourage people to if you don't have one, write in the comments what I should name this game that I'm gonna make. I've
been racking my brain for the past 10 seconds about some kind of Raid Shadow Legends pun.
Yeah, there you go. The one I was thinking was you could name it SWAT, and you can make it S, period W period A period T period, which no one has ever done.
Yeah, no, never. Or
never been done before.
The Raid, which also no one has ever done. Yeah.
If it's called the Raid Redemption. Anyway.
Or technically the Raid 3 is not copyrighted, so I reckon you can get away with that.
That's true. You could call it just the Raid 3 and let people figure it out.
See what happens.
What's the name of my game? It's about a guy who kills giant bugs. Yeah, it's called Godfather 4.
One more question about your game, Jeremy. Obviously, it's a Souls-like kind of RPG, so do we get character backgrounds that play into our fly swatting adventures? Do we have perhaps the ability to come up with our motivation for why we're doing this? Maybe you're an arachnophobe, maybe you're trying to take care of the house, maybe you genuinely like killing things.
Yeah. Maybe. I was thinking of it as being like we're at war with this race of flies. Okay. But I do like the idea of a guy who is trying to overcome his fear of bugs.
Yeah.
By killing all of them, the giant fly swatter. That's pretty funny.
There is that Netflix series, Rowan Atkinson, Man vs. Bee. Have you heard about it?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's I shit you not. The plot synopsis is Rowan Atkinson is being bothered in his house by a bee. It's a Netflix series. It's 10 fucking episodes long. I believe.
It's not called Mr. B?
No, it's not. They're not tuned into the strategies like we are. We would have called it Mr. B. to poach the fans,
love it.
but they're not up on that Netflix. They don't know how to optimize shit.
I keep thinking of have you seen Starship Troopers?
No, I haven't, but I am familiar with it.
The movie fucking owns, but there's a scene in it where they show a bunch of people like stomping on roaches, and they're like, do your part back at home, and it's like a propaganda video.
I've seen that I'm doing my part clip. It's like a famous meme, yeah. But in this game, do you think you would be able to successfully roleplay as Rowan Atkinson in Man vs. Bee?
Yeah, I think that there's a robust character creator, and that honestly, you don't even need to. He's one of the default guys. It's just Rowan Atkinson as
Yeah.
Mr. B.
Totally.
You can choose him. I assume he's Mr. Bean, but in a different location. I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know much
there's
about
Rowan
that.
Atkinson in Man vs. Bee and Mr. Bean, right? If the character creator's that good,
Yeah, why not?
then
Yeah, easily. You can do
all the playable characters are just the different faces of Rowan Atkinson. There's Johnny English. I don't know if you're familiar with Johnny
Yes.
English, but yeah.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
Things I'm familiar with Rowan Atkinson are number 1, Mr. Bean, number 2, Johnny English, number 3, complaining about cancel culture. Those are
Yes.
really the 3 things I know about him.
Which is weird because he's the least risque comedian ever. Like he does Man vs. Bee. You know?
They won't let him do it anymore.
Yeah. These woke snowflakes trying to cancel my fucking Bee show. Jeremy, where you at now? What you up to now? Plug some stuff for us. Tell us all about
The
it.
main thing I'm doing is Quorators, so I guess check that out. If you want to hear me and other comedians make fun of bad Quora questions, you can look up Quorators. And that's where I'm at.
And obviously,
Then anything else, yeah, just look up my name or something.
yeah,
Google it.
I heard through the grapevine that you're pursuing a career in the circus post hard drive. What's that all about?
Yeah. So apparently, my mom sent me this job link for the local circus is looking for the man with the biggest penis.
Ah.
So I've applied for it, and hopefully I can get it.
You know, I'm gonna
we'll
blow you away.
see.
I'm gonna blow you away, Jeremy. I applied for that too.
Okay, well we'll see who gets it, man. Let the biggest penis win.
Just saying,
The
wouldn't be
biggest
surprised
dick.
if we're the top 2 candidates. That's all I'm saying. So keep an eye on Curators and keep an eye on the local circus for either me or Jeremy. Honestly, we could whip them out and compare now. Just solve the debate now if you want. Should we do that?
Absolutely. That's what I
Okay.
want to see.
All right. You know what? Stay tuned, guys. Next, we don't have time for this recording session, but we'll be doing a follow-up on this Lane Design Conference episode where me and Jeremy will compare cock sizes to see who gets the job at the circus.
I don't understand. I have a different focal length on my camera.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I probably won't leave this in the recording, but thank you for letting me worm my way into the hard drive. I will forever be grateful.
Of course.
And
You do great work, and we're happy to have you.
thank you, and thank you for all the work that you did and everything you contributed. And fuck you for taking my spot for biggest penis man at the circus. Apparently. Awesome.